It's your co-host, Rissy, right?
Hey.
And yours truly, Kaninja. So today we're going to be talking about dating. Who pays?
Bum.
Rissy, tell me about this. Who
So
pays?
that's kind of what I ran into all this week. It's it's like who pays? And what I mean by that, it's like in all aspects of the beginning, middle, and end. Like who pays for your first time hanging out? Who pays when you're in the relationship for a couple of years? And who pays? Like where does this money go? You know? And then also another thing, like if you are with somebody, how much are you really obligated to put out money wise?
Okay.
And so like this week, like I went and hung out with, well, not this week, but hung out with someone, right? And in my mind, it was my favorite restaurant. And I told them about it. And so we went. So, and it was on my schedule. It wasn't like it was kind of like the offer was there to whenever we could hang out, but I was like, hey, this day, this time, this restaurant. Excuse me. And so we ate, had fun, great. The bill comes and I just swipe. And like, or I already had my card handy.
Right.
So by the time they give me the bill, I'm like, oh, here you go. So the person was just looking at me like, like, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Fix your face. And like, what you did? Well, I'm just so surprised. I'm like, about what? Like the food was awesome and amazing. Like I don't understand what are we talking about? Right. And he was just saying that he was saying that he's not used to like a female paying for dinner or lunch or whatever. And I'm like, is that like a first date thing? Because in my mind, I'm like, is that a first date thing? He's like, no, like she might cover tip. And I'm just like, but I told you to come.
Right.
Like I told you, I was very particular. Like, I determined how, more or less how the date went. Like we could have been anywhere, but I was like, this is the time, date, and place. Like, right. Why? And then he was on my schedule. So I was like, it was last minute. And I was like, hey, can you do this? And he's like, yeah, I can figure it out. Like, so, like I didn't understand. So it got me thinking. I'm just like, this whole paying situation, like to me, I feel personally, if I make the effort and if I make all the plans, I don't have an issue paying.
That makes sense.
If we both mutually want to hang out, then I understand me paying for myself.
50-50.
50-50. That's it. I mean, how you feel about it, Kaninja? Someone take you out. Like, how you feel about it?
So I'm conflicted. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm between that traditional and like the new age. Cause like, yes, I would love for the guy to pay for everything. Like that would be amazing, but I also know that I have exactly. But I also know that I have enough money to be able to pay for myself or whatever the case. And I know it's modern day, so women, that's not something that's expected of men anymore or whatever the case. But I like gut feeling, I would like for a man to pay. But I guess I was met a guy this past weekend, and like I paid for one activity, and then like he paid for the other. He paid for like the food, and I paid for the activity. And then so in the future, like I know like there's one coming up next weekend, and I'm planning on paying for the food because kind of like what you were saying is I'm picking the restaurant, and I'm like, okay, well, since I'm picking the restaurant, I in a way I feel obligated to pay for the food because of the modern day. But then again, I also feel like if I pay for the food, then there's no obligation of anything else that comes afterwards. So I think that's a famous advice from Rissy that she has given me in the past.
I'm not gonna lie. If the guy, I'm not feeling the dude, for whatever reason, okay, I'm open to my feelings. I'm just like, hey, I'll make this. I'm paying for everything. And just do it. I don't like having a conversation. I'm just gonna do it. And do it. Like, oh, and let me tell you, guys, I don't know where you, breakup buddies. Hey, they like it when you pay, and they like it. They're like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, somehow, some way, it boosts their whatever they're feeling. I don't know. I know that their demeanor changes when you just pay it.
Right.
No
Exactly.
competition.
I think it's that independent woman is just like, I got this. Okay. And they're like, oh, I like that. In my head, I'm like, well, I don't want to.
Like, I'm just like, I ain't trying to put out. I'm not trying to suck. I'm not trying to do none of that. Let me just go and pay for this food and go. And you have to censor that, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm like, let me just pay for all this so that you walk away, even though you took the gas to get here. That's all you had to do. You just had to get the gas and you got a nice free meal. Okay. And I'm dating, you check it to the game. That's it.
Exactly. Especially like, I don't know how that is for, like, I'm new in the dating scene, so I don't know how it is for a lot of different guys, and saying, if I pay for everything, then it's an obligation that, the girl has to put out, or whatever the case. And it's just like, I'll do 50-50 and then leave it up to me if I want to do that or not. And I don't have to feel like that obligation is there. Like, well, you paid, so I guess I have to. Like, no, we paid 50-50, so I don't have that obligation. Like,
hell yeah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the aspect of like dating. Like, this is your first getting to know them. Okay, like I said, we're split on it. Kaninja is half and half, and I'm over here like, let me hurry up and pay this real quick, and figure out everything else later. So you're in a relationship. Obviously, you're learning and you're growing, right? I guess when you start combining finances, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's what I mean by this is, like, I had a friend, and similar to how I'm into business, starting whatever. The chick was already, the girl that he was with was already like doing something. She was doing some type of business venture. So she was already doing it prior to adding him.
Right.
And so something came up, and like, he already had plans, like, with his family, like, whatever the plans were for his family, I don't know. And so walk around naked in the house, I don't know. He had plans. And so she had an event where I think it was something with one of the things where she was short money. Like, she needed to pay something, like some advertising, some piece of the event he was short on. And so he wasn't even going to be there. Like, he already had plans to be there. And he felt like he had to go and put money up for her dream, basically.
Oh.
Like, he felt like, okay, well, we're together, type deal.
I have to.
Yeah. And I'm just like, like, with the, like, like, if it's my dream, and I already had this dream prior to you adding, we didn't talk about financial obligations.
Right.
If I'm just short, I'm just short.
Right. Exactly.
But it was more of like, he felt obligated, and some level, like, the person he was with was trying to make him feel guilty. Like, we're together. You said there's a future. I'm short. What's up? What's your take on that, Kaninja?
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. When it comes to finances, like just combining finances, I get a little iffy about combining finances anyway, but as far as, if there's an obligation and if there's making someone feel guilty, it's just not good. So just those feelings alone, it's just not good. If the guy wants to do it and give the money to the girl to support her, and he wants to do it, not because he's obligated, perfect. I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, hey, thank you for helping me with my finances. That helps. But I don't want you to feel obligated, because then again, it carries on other feelings afterwards. I supported you. I did this. And then it makes things messy. And it just doesn't work well. So it's easier just to keep everything separate anyway, to avoid that, unless there is that communication that's saying, okay, do you actually want to do this? Because I'm not going to make you feel guilty for not doing this, because it really was my fault because I was short. It's my thing. I was at fault of that. But if you are okay with doing this and you don't have to, then great. But yeah, I'm again, it's hard. It's hard because, like, you want that support. You want that support in all different areas, like financial and everything like that. But it's so hard to trust how that person is going to give you that support afterwards, or how they're going to feel afterwards. So it kind of goes with that trust and the obligation in the middle of a relationship when it's not really fully established yet and there's not that trust fully there. I'd still keep shit separate. Like, I do me, you do you, and you succeed, I succeed, great, but until that trust is there, that I know that you're not going to turn around and tell me, well, I did this for you, so you need to do this for me. I'm not gonna do that. I'm protecting my feelings. Thank you. So, but Rissy, what are your thoughts on that?
I heard. Oh yeah.
It's break time, so she's eating.
One thing someone always told me: don't ever buy them shoes, because they will walk out of your life.
Oh. I mean,
damn. So it's like, how much is it when you're dating? It's like, where's the cap?
Right. Exactly. How much is spending too much on someone where they're just gonna take advantage?
And some people, so I met people who just give from the bottom of their heart, like, hey, I like you, I want to be with you, blah blah. And I show my support by, I show my love by. But then people take advantage. So it's like, okay, so going back to who's paying. I feel timing is a factor.
Okay.
Right. For example, I had someone who their birthday is before mine.
Okay.
And I based every birthday gift based on my birthday gift.
Okay.
And
I had to think about it for a second.
But it messes me up when I meet them off of my birthday.
Okay.
So for example, for baby daddy one year,
he
never had an ice cream cake ever. That was November. Obviously, my birthday's in March.
Right.
So I gave him his first ever birthday cake. Super, super happy. Okay. We ended up fighting on my birthday, arguing on my birthday. He didn't do anything for my birthday. Okay. My family is very big on birthdays, right? And so my mom was like, trying to respect whatever situation. We were living together, trying to respect our situation. Like, hey, you want to come by the house? And so I'm asking him, like, hey, like, I don't know if you have a surprise for me, but my family's actually, I do want to see them.
Right.
And he's just like, oh, you can just go. I mean, you keep asking me, like, you can just go. And I'm like, I'm asking you, ho, because they're asking me because I don't want to go make plans and you had a surprise. Tell me why that hoe didn't have nothing for my birthday.
Yeah.
So I simmered on it.
Yeah.
I waited for April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. I waited 8 months.
Oh no.
Didn't give him nothing, didn't do nothing. He felt the type of way. And I said, I don't give a boo. And I said, because you didn't do nothing on my birthday.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why. He says, well, I wouldn't be like that. Like, I wouldn't be festering on that for all those months. So I say this, Breaker Buddies, do what you feel comfortable with the gift giving, with the spending of money, stuff like that, because I spent money on that birthday cake.
Mm-hmm.
To get
They're
nothing
not
for mine.
Yeah.
To get nothing for mine. So it's like, that's why I said timing too. Because if I just, like this one person I'm talking to, his birthday's in January.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
Your birthday is in January. My birthday's in March.
Here's a card.
That's what I'm about to do. Like they sent me a list of stuff. Like, oh, this would be nice. And I'm just like, who buying you this shit? Like, I'm not buying this shit. Like, my birthday is in March.
Right.
Like, I don't.
Right. No, I don't blame you. That's something because it's a give and take. So I 100% agree with you. If you gave that person, that hoe, ice cream cake that they haven't had before, so not only is it a gift, but it's also sentimental on top of that. You put thought into that, and they did nothing. Yes, you are you are just fully able and capable of letting that simmer because I would have done the same thing in real life.
Yeah,
I hope this hurts.
Keeping things as normal, Hey, good morning, love you. Well, you're cooking stuff. Love you. And I feel like money is such an issue, is a topic that a lot of couples do need to speak about, because I feel like my view of, hey, if I invited you somewhere, I'm taking care of it. Mm-hmm. I've met women who is 100%. If a guy takes me out, regardless of who asks who that, he's paying.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the same view.
Right.
So my personal opinion, and you just, let me know, Kaninja. My personal opinion is that we should have a conversation about who's paying before the conversation's over on the phone or text or whatever.
So
it's uncomfortable, I know.
It really is uncomfortable because, like, especially if you're trying to have a relationship with that person, it makes it very, at least for me, for my own feelings, because I had to do that. I had to do that a lot. And I hate doing that. Absolutely hate it, because I'm just like, it should be common on who would be paying and who's not paying, especially if you're in like more of a established relationship, and it's just like, why do I have to figure out who's paying on this every single time? It's like either you pay or I pay. And it's just like, and I make decent amount of money. So it's always, the guy is always just like, well, since you make decent amount of money, you should be paying. And it's just like, F everything. And so, but now it's just like, I think conversation, that is the most mature way of doing it. Right now, for me, I'm just automatically going to assume that I'm going to pay, because I don't want to have that conversation. It's just going to piss me off. So I'm like, it's easier for me to assume that I'm going to pay until they're just like, no, I got it. So they say, I have this. Oh, okay. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, here you go. I don't want to have that conversation. So Canada's bitter, everyone.
No, but that's, like I said, that's a good conversation. Because of course, if I meet someone, right? Because I have met some people who were in between jobs or whatever, and I was like, okay, well, we can hang out, but because you're in between jobs. But I already knew that beforehand, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's go get some ice cream anyway. Like, you might feel some type with it. You don't have any. I don't know.
Right.
So I went, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready to pay this. I'm ready to pay for this ice cream. And they're like, no, I got it. I don't know where you got it. You ain't even got no call right now.
Oh.
I feel like you asked your mom. But I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna ask no questions. Because I know what I know.
Right.
Your car's down for the count. You have no job, but yet you're paying for our ice cream right now.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know what you did. I don't know if you gave up a little bit of booty for it. I don't know what you did to afford ice cream today. I'm just gonna take the ice cream and keep it moving. But like, if you know you're someone, if you know what I mean, like if you know someone is in between, that's different. But if we're both working,
Exactly.
But see, that goes. That's a whole nother conversation where it's like, okay, well, we both work, but you make a shit ton of money. Like, you make more than me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, then we need to go what makes sense. Like, I'm not going to take you to Outback.
Right.
Kaninja can take me to Outback, but Kaninja can take me to Outback 2 days straight, 3 days straight, 4 days straight. But I'm like, hey, Kaninja, you know, it's a special occasion. Like, it's your birthday. Gotta do promotion. You know, like, it gotta be something special. It can't be going like. So for me, if I wouldn't take Ninja, it would be just for that special occasion. Everything else, I'll be like, I'm gonna cook you dinner. Okay, I'm gonna cook a little dinner, you know. You know, like it's and so because I was speaking because I know it's been a lot of who paying this week that I've been speaking to a lot of people of who's paying for like one person, they're paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Who's never been paycheck to paycheck? Everybody's been paycheck to paycheck at some point of their life.
Right.
And so he knows that the person, just like Kanika, just makes a crap ton of money. She makes stripper money without being a stripper, okay? And he's like, well, I just got paid. I'm like, then you know what? You gotta just take them to McDonald's and call it a day. Or big.
Yeah.
And if they have a problem with it, that's when they're like, okay, so are you gonna pay the difference? Like,
right. I don't have it.
I don't got it.
Exactly.
So some factor could be, some people do it. I've noticed that some people do it kind of every other date.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, every other time we hang out, I pay, you pay, I pay, you pay.
Right.
Obviously the income is a factor where they're like, hey, you know, I only work, or I'm unemployed, so the burden is on the employed person.
Mm-hmm.
Gender roles where they're like, hey, you know, the dude got to pay, or the most masculine is supposed to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so I'm like, this who paying?
I think the biggest thing too is that, like, especially when it goes throughout a relationship, whatever you start with, I think it's something that you got to keep unless it's really an issue. So like if you start with, okay, I'm going to pay for myself and you pay for you already set that expectation of this is how it's going to be, you know, and if it changes, it's kind of that weird kind of, again, it's that conversation, of course, but it's that weird conversation of like, okay, so why did this change? You know, so like if you're going to start out and you're like, hey, I only want the guy to pay, then I'm going to make sure that the guy is the only one to pay, you know? And so, but again, we're back in the modern thing, you know, where it's usually 50-50. But I know for me, 50-50 it's a little level of trust that's not there.
And see, I met people where they're like, hey, I'm not really trying to spend so much money and we're not going to talk next week.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it's just the name of the game about dating. It's one of those things that, hey, when you got paid to play.
Right.
You know, like.
Exactly.
Because even if you don't want to take me out to eat or whatever, if we're going to do an activity to get to know each other.
Yeah.
It's still money. Like, it's still gas to get there.
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly. Breaker Buddies, Rissy is very modern, and she makes a wonderful girlfriend, partner, significant other, wife. She is just amazing.
No, I'll cheat. I'll cheat. That's why I do what I do. Nope. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna do that. I'll cheat. I need, what did I say? I said I need someone to grab me by the throat and say we together. Other than that,
even then it depends.
Like it depends. Because I had someone do it, they're like, we together, and I'm just like, no. This is what I wanted, but not you. This is not it. It's just. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So like, Rissy, what about who pays when they're married? And not just together and finances, but like when they're married and been together for a long period of time. Like, how do you think that works?
this is gonna sound selfish. That's your stuff, and that's my stuff. Cause like I just feel like there's always gonna be a more responsible one. There's always a more responsible one when it comes down to finances. Finances, not talking about other stuff. Finances.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it's like, because you work, so it's like you're like, okay, this money is to take care of bills first, and then we actually got like maybe because we're going on a trip to Hawaii. Okay, we only have $200 of wiggle room this month because we're saving enough for that. You being the fiscally responsible person is going to be aware of that. The other person is going to say, oh, we got extra 700 in this bank. Let me go and buy a new purse real quick. Or let me buy a new tool stuff. You know, like, let me. And you're like, because I hear both ends. So I hear both ends. I hear men and women being very not responsible with money. And especially when they have the combined situation where the accounts are combined, at least one is combined.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, keep it separate because I'm like, because I don't want to fund nothing. I want to fund my stuff and my daughter's stuff. That's pretty much it. Like if you get a new car and you got to put down payment, okay, great. But I don't want to see that. Oh yeah, I had to take like an extra something from the bank account to put to the down. No.
Yeah. It's like, where was my phone call? When was this conversation?
I'm like, no. But I've met a couple recently who they have all their stuff combined and they have like a number, like I think it's $50 or $100 or something, where they call each other, let them know like this is how much I'm spending.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I wouldn't want to have to have that conversation every time I want to spend, my money. So
right, if you put in $5,000 in your bank account, I'm about to use all $5,000 because I don't need to talk to you about that.
Right.
But that's my personal opinion. Being unmarried, being the type of person I am, that whole $5,000 is mine.
Right.
You only put $2,000, so you work with the $2,000 you paid for. Okay.
Exactly.
Like exactly. What? Like
exactly. But it just gets it has to come from a conversation, of course, and a mutual understanding of how that works. But it does create a level of trust of what to do with that bank account. Because I feel you right now too. I mean, but then again, I'm a bitter single woman at the moment. At the moment, but I feel the same way. It's just like, okay, well, you do you, I do me. But then emotionally, it makes me feel like there's that level of disconnection when you don't share finances. And it's just like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Are we like finances is another level of trust with a relationship. And it's just like, okay, I can see combining certain finances like a bank account for just bills. And then I have my fund money, you have your fund money. So I can put in like 3,000 for bills, and then the other 2,000 from that 5,000 is my fund money. So I keep that in a different account. Like that's something like I can see doing, but having a fully on combined account or fully on separate, I feel if it's fully on separate, I just feel like, are we just friends that we're just living in the same house?
I mean, because I did that with baby daddy. We had a bank account together to go and pay certain bills, but guess who was putting money in the account?
Right.
So now I got a whole bank account that I got to close because it's basically equivalent to me just doing it myself.
Right. No, that makes sense.
I'm like, but I'm putting money in. I'm the one putting money in. That's just me, Like I said, I'm a single woman out here in these streets. Yeah, I feel like, but that is a great point that you put out, Kaninja. It's the fact is what you established in the beginning, it needs to stick, or we're going to have some issues in the middle and towards the end of the situation.
Yes, exactly. Because I do not like asking and doubting myself every single time. So whatever it is in the beginning, if you start out 50-50, then keep going 50-50. If you don't like that, then don't start out as 50-50 as an obligation, because you're setting that expectation. And that's not cool. But break is basically over. And let's finish out with our final thoughts real quick. Rissy?
Okay, let me get my
Right time. I gotta go back to work.
Oh yeah, I gotta hurry. Hold on. Oh god. Okay, timer.
This is not helpful for my anxiety.
I know, right? Great topic, Kaninja. And for everybody, I may sound a little bit different. My wisdom tooth is bothering me very much. It is going a whole week, so I sound like a crazy person. I feel like a crazy person. It's like right here on the side. But love you guys. Who's paying? Talk about it. It's uncomfortable, but have a conversation first, because what I don't want to do, sometimes I don't bring my wallet. Sometimes I just go and just bring myself, which is not good because I need my driver's license. So have a conversation before you go out and say, who's paying? All right, that's my 30 seconds.
Awesome, perfect, awesome. So thank you, Rissy, for this topic. It was Rissy's idea, so it was perfect. I think we had a lot of different examples that we can do. Don't take for what I say too seriously right now. Wait until a few more months where I'm not a bitter single woman. So, but yes, make sure that you guys keep the expectations up front when it comes to who's paying and throughout your relationship. It's very important, and also to understand kind of where everyone is fiscally as well, because sometimes you have to adjust. So with that, that's my final thoughts. Please like, subscribe, share on our YouTube channel, which is somewhere around here.
Yeah, what is it? Oh, it's usually down here?
It's usually down here.
Oh, okay.
So also check out our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We try to put some live videos on our Facebook. We try to put some posts on there, so definitely check that out. We kind of do our updates mainly on our Facebook, so check that out. Check us out. Give us your feedback on what you think about who pays when it comes to dating. With that, bye, Break Room Buddies.
Bye.
See you next time.